Sorry about that, everybody. My battery pack died and I had to replace the battery, and I'm hurting, so I'm trying to do this very quickly. So I do the flesh tone first. I'm sorry, this is part 2. I always do the flesh tone, and I make the flesh tone even. You can put some shading in it to where you have just certain little edging, like the nose is generally shinier. Skin will sweat, but this you'll notice the skin, the nose is going to be shinier. Foreheads are usually shinier. So what you do is when you're looking at like shiny spots or spots that's going to stand out, you want to go thinly in those areas. I generally go darker around the edges. If you can see that, you can see that it's darker around the edges. And again, these are Kimberly watercolor pencils. And it's okay to go a little dark on it because the marker or the watercolor pen is going to thin out everything. So I always go a little darker around the edges and thinner towards the middle of the face. Now that's her face. And I have to go with the colors that are in the mini albums. So we're going to do a little red jacket. Now, if you see what I'm going to do, I'm going to do around all the inking areas, outline it. And then I will shade inward. It's just like you're outlining. And you'll see that I'll do a little darker in the corners. Just having a little fun. Our mini is in black, silver, gray, pink, and red. So I will be using a lot of those colors, if you'll see. And I'm going to do the top part of this pocket a little darker. And do up the little pleat here. Now you don't want to go back and forth on coloring. I got outside the line. Oh, shoot me, I ran outside the line a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to do the beret, and I'm going to do this band really dark because I want it to be really dark. Now I'm going to go back in and shade a lot of this in here in a minute. I've been playing with my girls tonight because I'm supposed to be in bed technically. And I'm so stiff. I really am hurting. Weirdly, it's a weird hurt, but my legs and arm feels great. The cortisone, I guess, won't kick for a couple of days, but I really do feel like somebody just had a freaking field day with my back. And my neck especially, it feels like a weeble wobble halfway up my back, like I can't control it. Okay, so I'm going to leave, and we're going to do the boots in black. So now that I got the outline done, and I'm going to go around the pocket a little bit, just a little. And I'm just going to go in and I'm going to shade in a little places here and there. Just here and there. And don't panic because it's all going to blend together when you get the watercolor pencil. Or my hydro pencil. H2O. I'm going to go up the edging. And then I'm going to go more in the corners and pull it through and shade a little bit. Now you'll see me do light shading. Just here and there. I'm going to leave that as it is. And I'm going to work my way in. It's okay, I'm actually going to cut around the edges. And I'm going to start going in softer and softer. And I'm actually going to stop. Do a little bit here. A little darker. And I'm going to leave that like that. Now, both my niece and my daughter have dark hair, so I'm going to go with a dark brown. Though it's not part of the color palette. I don't want to give them red hair or anything. Now, if you see what I'm doing, I'm just throwing in a little bit of color here and there. And this is brown. I'm going to add a little black to it. And I'm going to put a little bit around the face here, a little darker. And around the edges, and then out, and just put it through and have a little fun. Put some squigglies to match because it's all going to blend in. I'm going to go a little darker up near the edges once again. Again, it's all going to blend. Let me see if I have a lighter brown, which I do. Oh, I have a different brown. I like that one. It's more chocolatey. And I'm going to fill in with a little bit of that. And just fill it a little bit more. Night, my boy. Love you. My son's going to bed. Now, if I can find the black, I'm going to add just a little bit of black, not too much, because it won't blend. Just in those areas that are still showing. Now, everybody does it different. Some people like the Copic markers, and they're great, but Copic markers are outrageously expensive. And if you can get them for a great deal, fine, but most of them generally run about $8, $9 a piece. Unless you get a set, and even that, they get expensive. Now, her lips are done, but I'm going to add just a little pink to them, more than red. I'll put a little image of pink to it. Just a little, because I don't want a whole lot of pinkness to them. I'm going to pull that black out. No. Yeah, I'm going to pull the black back out. And I'm just about done with her. And I'm going to go just over her eyebrows. Because both the girls have dark bushier eyebrows. Just a little bit. And I'm going to do around the eyes just a tad. And I'm going to put black in the braiding here. Just a little bit. Let's see about putting some, maybe just a highlighted pink and gray. And I'm going to put black buttons on. And always make sure when you're using watercolor pencils that you keep the tips very sharp so you can get that edging. And I'm going to do a highlight on the boot. And I'm going to go a little darker in. Now don't panic, because again, this is before the watercolor marker. And the darker you, the more you press hard down on it, the darker you're going to get in the shading. The lighter you go, the lighter it is, but it's also on how to use the marker. So she's got a buckle, and I'm going to do that really, really dark. And I may go in later with a black magic marker and get that a lot better. But because she has a buckle, I guess I'll put a little bit of yellowish. There's kind of a gold color, but I don't like it. We're going to go a little yellow. I don't like using it, but I said I'd put a little pink, and we're about done. You guys are going to have a cow how quickly this goes. My time's almost up. I'm going to put just a little pink in her beret and a little gray real quick. And I forgot to do her skin tone on her legs. Of course, it could be the color of whatever her outfit is. So let me pull my flesh tone. And if you notice, I'm not filling it in totally. So she's ready to go. Got a little spot here. And I'm going to go with a little black. I missed her little collar here. Like she's wearing a little black shirt here. Okay, so I'm done using my watercolor pencils. And I'm going to go and start at the beret. I learned that if you pull out when you're doing it, and again, don't worry about the edges if you're going to be cutting it out. And I use my finger here, or you can see where it's starting to shade in. And I do one color at a time. Now you're not going to see the effect immediately. If you feel that you get too much on, squeeze your marker and then pull out. And you can start to see that it's giving you highlights. And if you don't feel that there's enough, pull it out more. Just have a little fun with it. So just enjoy it. You'll see the finished product on my page down below or to the side for Facebook.